A little break in the rain this morning. You can hear all the birds chirping. Geese over there. Man, they're just honking away. Today is a great day to do our 1 month-ish. Our opinions have not changed in the last couple weeks, but
more like 6 weeks, but yeah.
6 weeks. Review. So, how has it been? Where do we put things? How are we using the Escape 23? Initial thoughts? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of exceeded my expectations. And I'll show you why. For those that don't know, we are towing with a 2024 Ram 2500. This is a short bed with a Cummins 6.7 liter diesel. 4-wheel drive, all that good stuff. This truck will get us in and out of trouble, no problem. Towing, we're getting about, on the lyometer, I think we're getting about 15 miles per gallon towing, somewhere in there, and then 18 unloaded. So the 2017 Ram we had got better fuel economy than that. So take from that what you will. You might notice we have our awning out. It's a rainy day and it's covering that box and it's doing a great job at it, and we'll talk about that. We have the electric tongue jack. That works just fine, as they all do. And then I actually gave this to my mom a long time ago. It was like swag or whatever that you get from one of the shows. It's a little Kia duffel bag, so we'll put that over there. And it looks pretty stock, honestly. So this will protect from UV damage, which is good. 2 20-pound propane tanks, those are just fine. We kind of go through them quickly when we're using the furnace, but the fridge doesn't seem to eat too much of that up. Up here, we have an extendable ladder, our outdoor chairs, things that basically get dirty anyways. Some wipes, a little tiny stove. Let me think. We have actually 3 hoses now. So we have a tiny 10 foot, a 25 and a 50, which is awesome. Some gloves and no stinky slinkies in here, but enough that we can access it quickly. And this is cool because all you have to do is just pull that guy and latch them. Very easy. Off we go. One thing I don't care for is that if we were to lock this, and there's nothing in there really worth stealing, to be honest. But if we were to lock it, there would be a lock here smacking. I don't love that. I'd love a better solution, but it's such a low priority. I would also like to point out it's on an aluminum frame here, which is pretty rust resistant, let's say. And we ordered the front window, and I love it. It's pretty good, is it not? And especially in the summer, it's going to come in handy because we have a fan right there. We can just crack this, pull the air in, perfect. We also have 4 of these lamps. They are individually controllable, so you can turn one off. So the one we turned off was actually right over here. There's a bubble level there. Don't use it. It's just not something we actually need. But we actually turn this off because it's so bright, and they're all LED. But it will actually light up the next door neighbor's spot here. So we do have these jacks. They don't slip. They actually seem pretty beefy. And in the future, I'll show you how to, because we have they're manual crank jacks, which is great. In the future, I'll actually show you how to do those electrically for super cheap. You probably already have all the parts. The valves are easy to access. They're all nice and secured and covered and insulated here. Love that. No issues there. We've got a long hose here. This is the first time we've ever had hookups. So it's kind of weird. We don't have one of the stinky slinky runs. I'm not worried about it, but it would be kind of a nice thing to have. I guess if we were going to stay, full time, which is not something we plan to do still. Again, the big windows, I love that. That's really a pretty neat thing. The aluminum rims look great functionally. They perform exactly the same as the steel rims, so to each their own, but that has been awesome. Already had to repair the furnace. So this is it's a little Dometic furnace. Already had to repair that. It's a sail switch that goes bad. There was already some gunk in there. It was such a fine consistency. It was just like dust. It was like the clumps of kind of like dust bunnies, but not a big deal. So went ahead and pulled the switch out, tried to replace it after cleaning it off, didn't do the trick. They gave us a second switch, which was really awesome. So pop that in there, off we go. water hookups. Water fills super easy. I love this type of fill. I don't like when you have to thread it in. We had a steam that you had to do that with. That was really dumb. And you can see this is actually slowly leaking. It's a small leak, little drip here and there. There's no getting that any tighter. But I do like, though, that depending on how you do things here, you can lock that closed. Yeah, you're gonna go there. We have a two-way fridge here, so it's 120 or propane. It works very well. It's a nice fridge. You might say, well, it's less efficient than DC, but it's not something we're worried about. We're gonna keep the inverter on most of the time anyways, so yeah, not a big deal. We've also recently upgraded our batteries from the 200 amp hours that it came with of 12-volt batteries to 600 using our existing batteries that we already had. So that's awesome. We have two-way water here, and we have actually kept the electric element on the entire time. There's just a little switch in here. There's a separate switch in there for propane, and you can use both if you so choose. It'll just heat the water faster. It appears that it takes about 400 watts of power. Been very happy with that. I think it's about a 6-gallon tank, so I'll show you how, but you just have to slow down the water inside and you won't run out. This little window here, it really opens up the corner, and I'll show you that from the inside. This port here, self-explanatory, right? You go ahead and lock in your cable, off you go, and obviously LED clearance lamps here, but these are actually ports to the batteries. So you would have like one for an intake, one for an outtake. There's no fans on these, but we've actually, because it's a hose, we just went ahead and turned it on itself when we did our battery upgrade, because lithiums don't need to be vented, but it's a Canadian spec. So we may go ahead and might leave that, but we might insulate this a little bit better because it was blowing cold air right into our rig. Not a big deal, but at least it was easy to fix. Back here, we do have an extended, you can see we have a bumper. One, the bumper's nice. Two, being aluminum, I'm not worried about the stinky slinky, like rust rotting the inside of this out. Our Integra steam had a really nice powder coating on the outside, but there was no protection on the inside, so like you pull your stinky, your hands would be orange. Thankfully, I always wear gloves, but that is like a, you don't want to accidentally, whatever. Backup cameras included, as it should be. It's all wireless, all that good stuff. Another bubble level, again, I'm not really worried about it. We don't use it. There we go. Another one of those lights, which is nice. Big window. We have a sign that's in there so that when we're like going on a road trip or something, we can, hey, follow us on a Cozy Living Machine. Spare tire. Most RVs that we've had don't come with a spare tire, which is kind of interesting. Now, this is a receiver also attached. This will do 200 pounds. So very excited about that. We need to upgrade our bike rack. So we have had the Super Duty by One Up USA. Amazing bike rack. There isn't a better one, except for apparently the Extreme Duty. So we're gonna get the Extreme Duty because we kind of beat ours up a little bit. Oops. Now let's talk about the awning here. This is the first time we've used it, and so far, so good. It took a second to get figured out, but for example, you can release this and you drop this down. Man, those are some exciting geese. We have it angled. It's been just fine for us, even in the rain. There is a sliding track here, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I think you can actually remove, you can remove that out of there. They gave us way too much slack here. So we still need to modify that a little bit, but no, otherwise we've been pretty happy with this. And it's easy enough. Let's see. And it's easy enough to just pop up. There we go. Lock in place and off we go. We don't have an LED light strip. You can add one, but we don't use the unit enough to need one. And honestly, seeing how that they get wired in, it's literally like there's a 12-volt connection and let me think. Yeah, there's a 12-volt connection, a drilled hole, a little grommet, and maybe some silicone. It's something that we could add it on our own, or we have kind of a custom option that we're, eventually we'll look at. We do have an outlet here because the side of this is pretty simple. We always leave this open. And this is the vent for the stove hood, which works decent enough, right? And it's nice, actually. We'll show you on the inside. It's easy to clean. We do have a GFCI outlet on the outside, 2 ports on that. Otherwise, it's very simple. There's no outside storage that goes to the inside, and then that's just fine with me. 1 less hole, 2 less holes, or whatever. The awning's huge, which is great. It does, however, We cannot see the bar when it's up, but the arm does cover the window just barely, so we can't actually open this window with the awning in.
You can crack it.
You can crack it. You can crack it, yeah. So not a big deal. Also, while we were on the subject of rims and such, I should have talked about this. Having the tandem axle while towing, very nice deal. Ah, see? The tilt works. It's a very nice deal. It's very balanced. Also, the color. I have no regrets. No regrets.
No regrets.
So no, I think it's great. I think it really fits in. Also, I'm gonna raise that up a little too much just for the video. And there are two other big things. So the grab handle, great if you need it, and we don't. I hate the way it looks while you're the way that we live. It's not conducive. Like we basically live stealthily in cities. Stealthily is a strong term, but we live in the middle of the city. This is something that we are actually going to remove and patch up in the future. We'll have to we'll do some filler and then a little bit of like a sticker or something like that. We'll figure that out. But we don't need a handle there. Or we could use a small handle, actually. So that's one thing that I would change. I don't even know that we had an option, did we?
No, I think that's a standard.
At the time, yeah. And they change things all the time with this company, but they really are made for you. So I'm sure that if we had asked, I just didn't think about it. The other thing, these solid steps, you can see these little adjustment here, but they're really good here at the RV park. So these are amazing. You're not going to beat these. And if you go park to park to park or campground to campground, and you don't live the way that we do, they're awesome. Would you disagree?
No.
No, they're literally, you can call them solid steps. They're really awesome. They are sensitive though, because you can adjust the bottom feet down here, which is great, depending on the terrain and such. But if they're too much, of course you'll mash the bottom of this. If it's too little, they just sit there and flop, and they're really annoying. But otherwise, I have no complaints about them. The door has been fine. It is interesting because you get almost a complete blackout from the windows. This would be the only window though that's not only glass, because the rest of them are acrylic dual pane, which is amazing. Really good insulated properties there. But this also does show a lot of light through, so you can put something over it. And then pop that down. It's a friction hinge door. Love that. And there's your screen. A pull across screen would have been cool, but not really necessary. But I feel like it would have been, if I had the option to do one or the other, I'd probably go with the pull across screen.
Yeah, I think I would go with this because the pull across screens, the tracks get dirty and then they get jammed.
Fair. I don't know. I every time I look at the door, it just feels like I'm gonna accidentally push it up here and then pop the screen up. Never happened, but you never know. So let's head on inside. And by the way, you have your main light switch here, and then your outside light switch there. So that works out well. And they put a fire extinguisher right next to the door, which is perfect. And we're going to show you this just as it is, so you can see. Look, we live with 2 dogs. Their beds are right here. This is what it looks like day to day. It's not perfect, but let's talk about the front, because I think you have some things to say about this.
Yeah. Firstly, underneath of here, I'm not going to show everybody, but it's under there, our electrical system, which we just made a video about.
Yep, showed that.
In this corner. The water heater's over here. And then there's storage on this side all the way to about here.
Yeah, which we added Velcro on the back of those, and that has made a big difference because that was very annoying.
Yeah, these were falling down all the time on their own, and so we just added a couple strips of Velcro, and then these ones stay in place, and these ones we left loose, so we can just pull these out if we need to get under there.
And I will say it's not that hard to access. Like, once you slide it out, it's I mean, you have a lot of storage in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically anywhere you see an upper cabinet, all the way to the wall and back is storage. Like, it's all accessible. So like up here, we have some tech stuff.
Which we still have a little bit of room up.
This is actually more camera gear. But,
yeah.
Camera gear up here.
GoPro accessories.
Yeah. This is kind of like tape, miscellaneous like tech stuff, cords, cables, hard drives.
Yep.
And then over there, that one's really deep. We've got like paperwork, puzzles.
And we actually have bins.
Yeah, we do have bins.
We just, like, some of these things are too tall to fit in the bins. Yeah.
Like, we have our Polaroid printer, we have puzzles, and our Wi-Fi router box, and like random miscellaneous like things up there, like the manuals and stuff are up there.
Yeah.
Again, the windows are really nice here. There's a lot of light in this corner.
Well, not only that, but they open all the way up. Unlike those stupid cranking ones that look really good, but you only get that much ventilation. You don't get the cross breeze. Right. And those are, sometimes dual pane, but often single pane.
Yeah.
Lame.
We have these two little lights, these little decorative lights over here, which actually are nice. And they each have a USB port on them.
Which is great, especially if you have security cameras.
You'll see in the back too, Joel has something like plugged in here and then it's charging in the upper cabinet, which is like an easy way to run a cable.
Yep.
We're working on some storage solutions over here maybe, but we haven't gotten there yet. This table is probably my least favorite thing about this whole entire trailer.
And it slides.
It slides, it twists, it moves.
That's the mount there.
It locks in place, but it is so big, it is hard to maneuver around, and because it's so big and the mounting plate isn't quite centered in the middle of the table, so that you have more room underneath, like it
makes sense.
It's crooked, like it doesn't actually stay in place.
Yeah.
It like tips.
Yeah, it's so crooked on this side. Once you move it over so that you can have some leg room, it's unusable, and it's so short. It like, let's see, it's up in the highest position, and you can't there's not much room here. That makes it difficult to slide over because usually when you slide over, you have to lift a little bit, right? I don't know that this is necessarily like their fault.
No.
We have definitely talked about replacing this. We want to try to make it
smaller.
Yeah, just because we already have the material, but
and it already matches our kitchen counter.
Yes.
But they did cut this so that when you want to turn this into a bed back here, this table drops into place, and then you have almost a double-sized bed here.
Yeah. We
just won't use it that way, and it's a little obnoxious in my opinion.
If you go with the circular table, you won't have this problem, but you'll also have less. It's a pro and a con, right? The other thing we talked about doing, because of the way that they built this whole, all the cabinetry, it's all really well built. We could also do something like, what do you call it, lagoon tables?
Yeah.
We talked about that actually before we got the rig. That way, even something that kind of sticks out of here, I don't know, we'll see. We're not really, but it's nice to have somewhere that we can do crafts. Yeah. And I could do editing. It's sitting back there is real nice, so I'll tell you.
I think even if we just, I think it'd be nice to have a rectangle that goes kind of like this, long and skinny. Joel thinks it'd be nice to kind of just chop it off here and get rid of this part.
I think we need to chop a little bit off of here and then a little bit off of here to give us more room. And then I think if we added storage right there, a little something, I think that'd be good. It is nice just to drop your stuff there, so have some shelves, and then maybe some shoe storage.
Yes, which that leads us to where do we store our shoes now? Right now, our shoes are all stored. Oh, we're falling out a little bit. All of our shoes are stored in here.
I didn't realize how many more Crocs you have than me. Holy cow. Whoa.
I have
4 pairs?
We have the perfect amount of space here for all of our shoes.
What's in this one then? Oh, even more. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Emma's shoes are in here.
And Joel's shoes are in here too.
4 pairs. Get out of here. Okay.
But that's the perfect height to stand them up on their toes, and then you can see all your shoes.
Yeah.
And we've actually never had dedicated shoe storage in any of our other rigs, so this was actually nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess no. Letty has we built that thing.
Well, yeah, but any of our other pre-made RVs never came with some place that we could put shoes easily like that.
We did have a leak under this. It was easy to tighten up. It was off the hot water line. It was not a big deal. Hand tightened it, and it has not leaked since.
And the nice thing about this is, again, storage all the way to the wall. They give you all of the space for all of the storage.
Looking at the cabinetry, it's also dovetailed. I don't know that they didn't use a poly or anything like that on it, but they are dovetailed, which is very nice. And that's how they're narrow, right? And there's 4 just like it. We tried to line them. That liner sucks. So it's just
it's the clear. Yeah. I mean, I like this liner, but.
Yeah, I think it sucks. It's horrible. Yeah, so we've got spices and then just knickknacks, it's randoms, and then dog treats, of course. The cabinet quality is really, really good. And we have a lot. We have a lot of storage in here. There's no light up here. You don't need it. All of these. Look at all the storage we have.
It's empty.
Yeah. If you don't think there's a lot of storage in here, I'm all the way back. So. It is that much storage. I don't know how to, it's a lot of storage. I don't know where a tape measure is. Times that. And they do put in these to bolster the support. They also have support beams along the wall that are, I believe, they're fiberglassed in. More storage in here, and this is where we put the air fryer. We were going to actually head up to Canada to get one little thing fixed up on this, but that plan changed, and so we'll be going mid-March.
This countertop, you get to choose from a few different options. This was a extra cost to upgrade to like a choice out of a book of hundreds. And so we kind of made an upgraded choice, and we chose this counter, not out of their 4 predetermined choices, but out of the bigger book. And we upgraded to the black sink, which is deeper.
Yeah.
The other sink that we come standard with.
I added some caulking along here. It's definitely working better. We're not seeing any water going underneath. Right. Not that it was making it all the way underneath, but it's one of those things that you're like, you know.
It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
One thing we always add to our homes is a paper towel roll holder. And so this is where we decided was the best spot for it. I'm pretty happy with the location of it.
Yeah. It's also not drilled in. It's just it's adhesive.
It's stuck on, yeah.
Yep. Tower of power, this is where we put our router right now, but we will actually move that under the bench with the other electrical gear. That's a great place for it, but happy with that. The 2-burner, I like it.
Yeah, 2 burners fine. We never use more than 2 burners at a time, and it's dirty.
It is dirty. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and cut that out. We've got this little, what do you call it, round Susan?
Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan. We use it more for the utensils here. This is from Gypsy Bewitched. It was actually a really nice gift. We don't use most of these. There's a couple in here, like chili powder and
seasoning salt.
Yeah, there's a few of them. Although we are already going through these from the drawer, so eventually we'll start using more of these, which is cool. And this is also a gift from Aria There Yet. Very sweet, and kind of matches, I love the black flamingos, kind of matches the hooks that we added here. And as a matter of fact, we added 2 hooks. We'll talk about that. But just finishing off the kitchen here, it's nice to have the light, fan, and we have these 2 tabs right here. You can pull this down, and you can access everything to clean, which is, we've not needed to yet. And you can see it's still pretty, I'm not convinced that this, the blower motor is powerful enough here to really, I'm not convinced that the blower motor in there is like really moving stuff, but you do see steam instead of kind of coming out here. It kind of goes that way, but if you are worried about it, open the window there and you should be good. For some controls, which are my favorite thing, so we have kept the furnace on low just in case something else fails. We have a second way to run the furnace. We can talk about that, but I'm a fan since it's working again. You have the water heater for it's a propane, it should say propane water heater, but that's the switch for that. And then you have the water pump if we wanted to use that, but right now we're hooked up, so nothing there. We've got a battery, so the sea level, and love this, but battery monitor, fresh tank. Gray tank though shows 0 and it's a complete lie, so that's what we're going to Canada to, it's only 2 hours away, so we're gonna have them fix that. And then the black tank monitor, actually I think that both of these are wrong. I don't think that's ever showed anything under 19. That's fine, it's fine, but there's a short somewhere. It's not a big deal. And then we also have this guy Velcroed. This is a control for our Houghton AC, and we do have this outlet. I don't know that we're going to use this very often, other than like if we're charging something that's right in there. That's not a big deal. There's also an outlet under here, and this is also where we keep the dog food. Here's the EMS. So this is the surge protector. This is the status of that surge protector. The outlet there, we do use that. We have a little extension cable we need to. And then this is a carbon monoxide monitor here. And then we got some cleaning supplies under here, which is cool. Our fridge, I don't even know what's in it. Yeah, got our fridge. And this is, we're about halfway through. We're almost ready to go to the store and refill with some meat, but we've got a good amount of storage here. I always have this desire to run like a 12-volt freezer for some reason. We don't need it. We just don't, unless it was like a backup to this, but it's so rare that our fridges ever die, though it has happened twice on an Airstream. Doesn't matter. This is the multi-control. I talked about this a little bit more, but basically if you have power coming in from the pedestal, you can select how much. And this ran an update actually last night, and so this is the interface. This will tell you, so we have 435 watts coming in from shore power, 0 watts coming in from solar because we don't have anything hooked up, 100% battery charge, and then this is what's going out. So shore or 120 and then 12 volt. So it's actually pretty cool. And then you can make this a dark mode, light mode, and there's all sorts of cool functions. And this is just a readout for the power system, but there's also a sleep button, right? Oh, a sleep button right there. The propane furnace, effective, decently quiet. You know, not the loudest thing. You can rotate that. And it gets it toasty in here real fast, real fast. And it doesn't take up much power at all, which is awesome.
And when I tell you, they give us storage everywhere. Anywhere they can squeeze it, they put it. Joel didn't know this storage existed until about 3 days ago.
No, and then I got these pots, because we were going to put plants in here.
We're going to put plants in here. So we started collecting some pots, so we're ready for them.
Yeah.
And they're there. This is the technical closet. We just have our hanging stuff in here.
You mean Emma's hanging stuff?
No, yours is in there too.
Oh yeah, all my hanging things are in there, aren't they? Yes.
We added a full-ish length mirror. You can see your whole body with it. We got this at IKEA. It's just like we Velcroed it on.
Yeah.
So
it works. It works all right. It really, that space is pretty empty right there because the bathroom, obviously.
Yeah, I needed a space where I could get ready without having to like dodge a bunch of obstacles, and so here we are. This is access to the water connections and the water pump.
I don't know why I'd never looked in that before. And this is a great example. I mean, you can see how they're building. I mean, I would much rather see this method of building and this level of access than the crap that we're seeing in a lot of other rigs. Even the abundant use of, liberal use of spray foam there. Let's see. I mean, everything's accessible. I love this. That's so great. This is the Houghton Bel Air 3400. So this is it has a heat function. I believe it's a heat pump if I'm not mistaken, and an AC unit all in one. Of course, there is a touch capacitive button here, and you can. That function sucks. Period. It's just me. Maybe I didn't read the manual well enough, but I tried to learn it. It does not do a very good job of controlling this, and I don't think that's the whole point, because they can be a remote. The problem is that remotes break, or you can't find them anymore in a couple years, right? Like, I don't love that. So I'd like to see better controls on this. However, it is quieter than any other heat pump / AC we've ever had, although you're still going to hear it, right? Like, it's a small space. The heat pump works well enough. It does. You can see it's easy to clean, but it does get a bit dusty. You do have a bunch of modes on this. It's okay. It's okay. It's definitely better than the Coleman that we've had in the past. It's about on par with, I think, the Dometics. And some of the Dometics don't even have any interface controls here. They only have them on the wall or through a remote. So pros and cons. It's not a bad upgrade. I don't regret it, but I do wish that the touch interface was better. However, here's the thing: it's in the middle of the night, and you have the heat pump on, and we've just been running off of this because we're hooked up. This will actually shake the unit to turn the compressor on. Whatever pump it will, the fan will kick on, and then all of a sudden it'll start shaking, almost as though somebody's outside. I don't love that. I get why it does it. It's a small trailer, but I don't know that I don't think that has ever really happened in the past, has it?
No.
Yeah. So pros and cons. I think this was like $1,000 upgrade. Would you do it again?
Yes, because I don't know the other option. I don't know what the other option would have been.
We already had it, and I think even in the Esteem it had the other option, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, this works great. I don't know. It's fine.
It works all right.
Would I do it again? I don't know.
Yeah. So, I don't think they're all they're cracked up to be. It's also not super efficient. So definitely not much more efficient than anything else. If we're looking at this, it's right now pulling about 1,400 watts. We've seen this take a good amount of power. So I think closer to 2,000 watts just to heat. So pros and cons.
Moving on into our bathroom.
We have the hooks on the outside.
We added hooks on the outside for our coats and then hooks on the inside for our towels. We had a dog water spill, so we're drying our kitchen towels in here right now too. It is a wet bath, which is not my favorite thing, but it does its job fine. So as you can see, there's like plenty of room to move around, lots of room above me, head height.
You're 5'8",
5'7",
5'7",
5'8" in Crocs.
Yeah.
You know, this comes off so you can kind of move it around, spray things down, spray yourself down. There's a motion sensor light in here. There we go. There's a motion sensor light, which is really nice. So if you come in to go to the bathroom, you don't have to worry about trying to turn the light on. It just automatically comes on for you, which is great. There's a little medicine cabinet, but it's definitely not enough to store anything substantial. So we just have like our soaps and shampoos and stuff in here.
It's waterproof, and that's what I care about the most.
Yeah. It comes with a clear shower curtain. We added a fun one just to give a little extra color in here. But you pull the curtain all the way over, and that protects your door, which is not waterproof, and your towels and stuff.
There's a tiny lip right here.
Yeah.
And then it comes with a filter that sucks.
Yeah. So we added our own hair trap.
Yeah.
And then we mounted our toothbrushes on the wall here, just in a little compartment that drains into the sink.
That's alien tape. I was not expecting that to hold as well as it does.
And then your hot water controls are here, and then when you turn the water on, you can adjust it from here. You just pull this, and then it comes to the shower head. But I'm not going to do that, so I don't get all wet.
There are a couple things to know. So this is a regular shower curtain that was actually just cut in half. So we actually have a second half of that. It doesn't get moldy because the fan that is right here. So this is like, there's not much space for air to come. So there's a gap here. It'll pull air top and bottom, pull it out. So it evacuates moisture pretty well. We don't have the need to like squeegee or anything like that, although people will. This lid, as you can see right here, hopefully, does capture water. So you want to empty that, flip it up after your shower. Otherwise, you can go to use your bathroom and all of a sudden you end up with wet feet. We don't really have an issue with the wet feet that frequently. I mean, it's not that big of a problem. Right now, it's kind of muddy in here now, but that's the beauty of it, is it's like an all-in-one. So what we can do, and it's cheap little, plastic head. It's not that big of a deal. Let's see. So if I go ahead and turn on, say, the hot water or the cold water, I'm just going to do the cold. Then I go ahead and pull that up. You'll see it's going to kind of basically charge that. And here is a little knob. You work everything around. You just rinse it off. It's, again, not that big of a deal. But the trick to making your shower last more than 2 seconds with hot water is to simply turn that about halfway. So if you keep it about halfway exactly, you'll still have enough water to rinse yourself off with. I am somebody who I like to have the water kind of going for a while. But that's a good indicator that, hey, I've gone through like 6 gallons of hot water, when that's empty. But that'll get us through it, more than a 10-minute shower. And I have enough room at 5'11" to stand up completely with maybe an inch. So it's about a 6 foot, maybe a little bit more. We can measure that. It's really not bad. And again, there's a lip down. Oh, turn that off. There's a lip down there, so it's really not a big deal. Everything's decently self-contained, and because we have the towels on the inside and it's pulling the air up, it's evacuating that moisture. It dries those towels pretty quickly. We had to come up with a different storage solution for all of our other bathroom related accessories, and so these little corner cabinets here, there's 2 of them. This top layer, we put the things we access daily or almost every day, and then the bottom one is more things you access like once in a while. And that thing does turn. Yep, and that's a lazy Susan that spins. Some more Velcro holding that in. Yep, so we just... Yeah, Emma's crap is getting... You have so many things. The hairbrush keeps tipping over and getting caught on things. But on the bottom, though, we're using like more medical, like hydrogen peroxide, alcohol. What else is in there? Extra bars of soap, extra rolls of toilet paper, things like that. Like the extra kind of stuff that you just get when you need extra toothpaste, things like that. We have a 140-pound dog and a 50-pound dog. Yep. She might be 52. She's getting a little round. She's getting a little round. But they are decently happy. So Colt, however, will stick his feet. He likes to put his paws right underneath that and push it up. Yep. Don't love that. But otherwise, he's happy over there. Samantha can curl up, and she's good. She can lay out. So this is supposed to be a walk-around bed.
And you definitely can walk around one side. It gets pretty tricky to walk around that side even when it's not there.
Well, particularly with the you know, the bed. Yeah. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but like it's not like this side you can walk pretty clearly around. That side you gotta like maneuver around.
Would it be better to go with the corner bed?
Because
they have a king option.
They have a king corner, so I think that the corner bed may have been a better option if it was a queen size. I don't want the king size. Yeah, I don't want the king size corner bed. But for us, being able to put the dog over there, one of the dogs over there, makes more sense. I have no regrets, and it gives us 2 storage solutions here as well. So we kept the stock mattress that came with the RV, and then we just added a 3-inch Tempur-Pedic mattress topper from
hold up, Walmart or Costco?
Costco.
Yeah, because this mattress is not good. It's really not good.
But the Tempur-Pedic mattress topper does that.
Yeah, that thing, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like springy and sprungy. And then underneath here, we also added, although it's not very effective if it's not pulled all the way out, this is a ventilation pad. I don't know that works as well as I would like it to, but it seems to be pretty decent. We weren't getting any moisture underneath, but we were getting some of the backside. It's definitely reduced that a lot. Yeah, so no issues there. And if you're wondering about the blanket, we got that, so this big, the comforter is actually from, it's a down comforter from Cole's. That, we got it on sale for like,
well, it was like a $300 comforter we got for like 120 bucks.
120. And then you add the duvet cover over it. That thing is so hot. As a matter of fact, if this is running, I cannot sleep under that.
No, somehow I end up with the comforter and Joel ends up with the quilt.
Yeah. And then we have the quilt just for covering our head if we were off grid, but also works well in the summer.
Yeah, and so in the summer we'll take the comforter off, store the comforter, and then we'll just use the quilt. And where we would store that comforter,
it's heavy.
It's very heavy.
Yep.
It's under here. So under here we have our extra cushion to be able to make the table a bed. Some of our gym equipment, backpacks that we aren't using every day. Extra linens and coats are here. And our dirty laundry right now, but we have all that extra space.
We access that through here. You just pop that open and slide it on in there. Yeah.
Back there we do have that thing.
Yeah, it's a DC to DC Orion. That'll just keep the lithiums from pulling even more amperage from the truck. It's okay. I don't love its position. I would have preferred it against the wall, but that's something that I can, we're actually, I think we're going to use that port or the opening there and the wire run. I think we're going to be able to use that in the very near future. Fingers crossed. There's that center support, and then we have if we want to make it the table into a bed. I think that once we adjust that table, we might just go ahead and
get rid of that.
Delete that. Yeah, but look at all that freaking storage. That's insane.
We're not even using all of it.
No, they did such a nice job. And again, the wood, they're not cheaping out here, right? Like, we don't feel creaks or nothing like that. In here, they're doubling up on the plywood as needed for the supports. They just do it right.
Yeah.
They really do.
And the struts are really strong, so you don't feel like you have to hold it up.
Yeah. On either side, of course, we do have basically a locker on either side and a tower of power.
Yep.
Pop up, which is great.
Yep. And then there's 2 plugs, a USB-A and a USB-C on there.
Yep. And then 2 120, which mine's always full of. I've got a USB for the GoPro, charges off of that USB-C, and then I have the adapter for my Mac. And you can also see we also have USBs up there at the lights, but then I keep a cable so the big camera will charge in there, or I'll actually plug my phone in there on occasion, things like that.
We are slowly upgrading our clothing storage. Like, we kind of just shoved things places and have been slowly adding ways to kind of keep it more organized. So like sweatshirts up here, t-shirts up there.
Which these are pretty deep. This goes back there, and it's actually kind of hard to reach all the way back. And then I keep a little adapter I use. Sweaters, yeah. I think Emma has 4 or 5 times the amount of clothes I do.
Yeah.
But I think you can do just hanging storage in here if you wanted to. Socks, unmentionables, t-shirts are in there, shorts are in there.
We each have a nice drawer on this side. I just keep like random like lotions and hair clips and stuff like that in it. Yep. But really nice big deep drawers, goes all the way to the back. And then we each have a lower cabin.
I find mine kind of hard to access.
Yeah, kind of hard to access. We keep our pants and stuff in there.
Body mechanics wise, yeah. In mine, I don't have any lotions and potions, but I do keep my personal protection flashlight. Things that you need, there are various ways to store the things that you might need right there.
I will say all of the latches and things on the drawers and cabinets are really, really strong. Like, we never have to worry about things flying open while we're en route and we're not paying attention.
They use magnets just about everywhere. It gives kind of a loud clank when they do close, so it's not the most pleasant sound.
Yeah.
I will say that, but I have no complaints about the hold. They also, we haven't used it much, as you can see how clean it is, but we've kept this open 100% of the time just to keep the moisture condensation from the walls. The fan's pretty good. This is a manual fan, so you do have to like open it, close it, you know, whatever, but it has a built-in cover. It can pull air in, out. It does everything that you need one of these fans to do. They're easy to clean. You can rotate like that, and then just pull this guy down. No complaints. It's in a great spot. I wouldn't mind if there was a second one, but it's such a small area that I don't think it's necessary. And so from the inside of these, you know, they have these window box. You can actually turn these upside down, as we have done, so that we have privacy down here, light up here if we want it. But a bug screen, blackout shade, and they work pretty well. This one has 5 latches because of how large it is. Easy to operate. And so you can open this, now that the awning's out, you can open this all the way, and then you just latch, and then probably bug screen. They are tinted glass, so it gets a lot lighter when you have that open. The other thing that's really nice about these is there's actually a notch here. So there's a seal if you pull it all the way in and off you go, right? But there's a little notch there, and you just kind of have to match it up perfectly right there. And so you can stick your finger out, you can get that air. And so if you want to leave, especially in the summer, right? It's not too hot, or say spring. You have dogs, they're inside. You don't want to rely 100% on the AC or something like that. We actually don't run the AC almost ever when we're off grid. So we could go ahead and just crack every single one of these windows. We still have the security for the most part. If somebody wants to get in, of course they're going to get in. We have the security, but we also have the peace of mind knowing that if we run that fan, you know, full blast, particularly with the insulation here, it'll keep everything pretty cool. The insulated factor of, you know, the fiberglass it's not a good conductor, which is really nice, although it's not very thick, so you have to factor that in. They do have insulation in the walls. I don't know what the R value is. I don't think it matters. What I will say is that when it was cold outside, it held the warm in here really well. We also got the insulation package underneath, so it's spray foam. Would recommend, definitely would recommend. My feet were not cold.
No.
Yeah, at all. So heat rises, but it keeps it all in here. The tanks are also enveloped in that, so you don't have to worry about that. We did not run the furnace at all, and when it was snowing outside, or just prior to that when it was freezing, it was in like 19 degree, 18 degree, 14 degree weather, the tanks did not freeze. So our hose froze outside. The tanks did not freeze in here, and we weren't running the furnace. We were running just the heat pump up there. So that should go to show that basically there's radiation factors here. You know, maybe open these cabinets up if you want to, but even without the furnace like pumping down into, you know, the lower tanks, it's all right. It's pretty good. So we've had really 2 issues. One that was a really easy fix. You just had to have a drill or a screwdriver, and then you have to have the sail switch, which they included, which was amazing, great surprise. So furnace, easy fix. We did that ourselves. And the sensor, we would probably be able to replace the sensor for the tanks on our own. It's a board that has probably gone bad. I don't think that would be too big of an issue, but we have the insulation. And I don't, honestly, it's a brand new trailer. Why, if we have the opportunity to go back to the factory, why would we do it ourselves? And they have been so awesome to work with.
Yeah. Consistently.
Really awesome to work with. So no, I've been blown away. Very happy with the customer service. You know, they're not the cheapest trailers by any means, but I do think they're among the highest quality trailers.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets. And usually by this point we'd have a long list of things that are broken on every
any rig, yeah.
Whether it was an Airstream, Holiday Rambler, or a Steam, unfortunately, like we have very minor gripes, and it's not been hard to get support. And if we didn't, so say we were down in California, Texas, Florida, whatever, we weren't 2 hours away from the factory, they would actually pay, they would send the parts and pay somebody else to do it for us. I don't really trust any of the RV folks or it's the whole thing. So we're very fortunate in that way. Like I said, I'm very happy. The electrical system, as you guys saw, really well protected, really good job, I think. Insulation, very happy with the dual pane windows, very happy with those. Tows pretty well, pretty darn well. I mean, it's a light trailer, so like the truck barely knows it's behind it. We have a 2-inch hitch. Did not realize we had a 2.5-inch receiver, so we're using an adapter. That sucks. That needs to be upgraded. That's a factor. We need to go get a legit 2.5-inch. There's no shimming. That's not gonna happen. But that's more of a me problem and us problem than that has nothing to do with escape really. So that's where all of our stuff goes. We still have extra room. I'm trying to think, are we forgetting anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's easy to customize. Oh, we have the decals on the outside. They're very subtle, but I think for us, we might get, modify those. Solar. We've ground deployed the panels that they came with because they didn't install them. So it was a great thing. Again, you can ask them to make changes. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're happy to do that. In this case, they give us support on the roof, and instead of installing the panels, they chose not to. They just gave them to us anyways. And we didn't need them, but we used them, and very happy with that. That was really cool.
We'll be doing a larger solar install later.
Yeah. So that solar port on the outside works well. I don't know about out there. Hopefully, we've got a little bit of roof real estate, so we're gonna pick some bigger panels. But hopefully, yeah, that'll be a plug-and-play system. It's just plug in the panels, adhere them to the roof. You'll see a video on that, and then we'll be extending that to the truck in the future. So we have a video coming up on that. But so far, my inspection of the roof, we've got a lot of room for activities, let's say, and the caulking and all that good stuff is really good. And again, the reason you go with a fiberglass trailer, though, is that you don't have all these seams and seal points. It's significantly less, and they lived up to it. Yeah. So if you have any questions, leave them in a comment below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.